Welcome to today's episode. I'm Laura Lee. And I'm so glad you're here because we're talking about something incredibly important. How pre-settlement funding can empower plaintiffs like you to fight for the settlement you deserve. If you've been injured or wronged in some way and are pursuing a legal case, you know how challenging the process can be. The legal system takes time, sometimes even months, even years, to deliver justice. But life doesn't pause while you wait. Bills pile up, savings run out, and the pressure to settle quickly can feel overwhelming. Maybe you've even felt like you had no choice but to settle for less than you deserve because you just want to stay afloat. That is not a financial decision, it's an emotional one. It's frustrating, it's unfair, and it leaves you feeling powerless. But here's the thing, you have more power than you think. Pre-settlement funding is designed to give you the financial stability to stand your ground, focus on your recovery, and let your attorney fight for the fair settlement you are owed. In today's episode, we're going to explore how pre-settlement funding works, why it's different from other financial options, and how it can help you take control of your case and your future. We also share real stories from plaintiffs who used pre-settlement funding to stay strong during tough times. Let's get started. Let's start by talking about the financial pressure many plaintiffs face during a lawsuit. It's not just about the legal process. It's about the real-life challenges that come with it. Imagine this. You're recovering from an injury and you can't work. Your medical bills are piling up. Rent, groceries, utility, they all need to be paid. And on top of all of that, your savings are running out. In this situation, it's natural to feel desperate for financial relief. And unfortunately, that's exactly what some insurance companies or opposing legal teams count on. They know that plaintiffs under financial strain are more likely to settle quickly, often for far less than their case is worth. But let me tell you something, your case is worth fighting for. You have been through so much already, and you deserve a fair settlement, one that reflects the pain, loss, and financial challenges you've faced. That's why it's so important to avoid settling too soon out of necessity. Here is where pre-settlement funding makes a life-changing difference. So, how exactly does pre-settlement funding empower plaintiffs to fight for fair settlement? Let's break it down. Number one, it provides financial breathing room. The biggest advantage of pre-settlement funding is that it gives you the financial support you need to cover your everyday expenses while your case progresses. When you don't have to worry about how you're going to pay your rent or buy groceries, you're in a stronger position to focus on your case. You can take the time to let your attorney build a strong argument without feeling pressured to settle early. Sarah was injured in a car accident and couldn't work during her recovery. Her medical bills were stacking up, and her landlord was threatening eviction. Sarah felt like she had no choice but to accept the first settlement offer she received, even though it was far less than what she deserved. But then her attorney recommended pre-settlement funding through Stonewood Funding. Sarah applied and received cash within 24 hours. The funding gave her the breathing room to stay in her own home, cover her bills, while her attorney continued to fight for a better settlement. When her case finally resolved, Sarah received a settlement that was 3 times higher than the initial offer. She said, "I never thought I'd have the strength to keep going, but the funding gave me hope and the time to fight for what I deserved." 2, it shifts the power dynamic. Let's be real. Insurance companies and big corporations often have deep pockets and endless resources. They're counting on plaintiffs like you to feel overwhelmed and just give up. But when you have pre-settlement funding, that dynamic shifts. You're no longer at their mercy. You have resources to stand your ground and say, "I am not settling for less." James was a construction worker who suffered a serious back injury on the job. His employer's insurance company tried dragging out the case, hoping James would just settle out of desperation. But with pre-settlement funding, James was able to cover his family's expenses and continue his physical therapy while his attorney fought for a fair settlement. He said, "It felt like I finally had someone in my corner. I wasn't just surviving. I was fighting back." When you're not consumed by financial stress, you can focus on what really matters: healing. Whether it's going to physical therapy, attending doctor's appointments, or simply just resting. Having the financial stability to prioritize your recovery makes all the difference. Pre-settlement funding isn't just about money. It's about giving you the time and space to heal emotionally and physically. Now, let's take a moment to address an important question. Why isn't pre-settlement funding a loan? This is a question I always hear, and it's such an important distinction to understand. One, there's no monthly payments. With a traditional loan, you are required to have monthly payments, even if you're out of work or waiting for your settlement. But with pre-settlement funding, there's no monthly payments to worry about. Two, no credit checks. Your financial history doesn't matter. Approval is based entirely on the strength of your case, not your credit score or your income. And third, there's no risk. Here's the most important difference. If your case doesn't resolve in your favor, you don't repay the advance. That's what makes pre-settlement funding completely risk-free. If you're wondering how to get started, here's what the process looks like. 1. Apply online. Visit stonewoodfunding.com and fill out a simple application. Then your case is reviewed. Stonewood Funding works directly with your attorney to review your case. And third and finally, you receive your funds. Once approved, you get your funds in as little as 24 hours. It really is that simple. Before we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this thought. When you're in the middle of a legal battle, it's easy to feel like you're just stuck, like the system is working against you. The financial pressure, the constant waiting, and the stress of not knowing what's next. It all feels overwhelming. But I want you to hear me when I say this. You are not alone in this fight. The challenges you're facing right now do not define you. They're part of your story, yes, but they're not the end of it. You have the right to stand your ground. You have the right to fight for the justice that you deserve, and you don't have to sacrifice your well-being or settle for less because the road is hard. That's why Stonewood Funding exists, to remind you that you do have options, to give you the breathing room to keep going, and to empower you to fight for the settlement you deserve. Let's pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Right now, you may be dealing with more stress than you think you can handle. You're thinking about your bills, your recovery, your case, maybe even your family's future. It's a lot. Just recognize the fact that you're doing the best you can. It's okay to feel overwhelmed, and it's okay to feel tired. What's important is that you don't give up, because there is a path forward, and there is help available. Pre-settlement funding isn't just about financial relief. It's about giving you back your power. It's about giving you the tools to say, I'm not going to settle for less than I deserve. I am going to fight for justice. I am going to focus on my recovery and my family without constant financial stress. When you have that kind of support, you're in a stronger position to fight for what you are owed. You're able to stand your ground, knowing that you have the resources to keep going. And if you're wondering whether this is the right option for you, remember this: pre-settlement funding is not a loan. There's no monthly payments, no credit checks, and no risk. If your case doesn't resolve in your favor, you don't owe anything. And that is what makes this such a powerful tool for plaintiffs. It's designed with you in mind to help you navigate one of the hardest times in your life and come out stronger on the other side. I know this isn't easy. The waiting, the uncertainty, the weight of it all. It's so much. It's a lot. But I want you to remember, you are more resilient than you think. You have the strength to keep going. And there are people who believe in you, who want you to succeed. At Stonewood Funding, we've worked with so many plaintiffs who felt just like you. people who were overwhelmed, scared, and unsure of how they were going to get through the next day. But with the right support, they found their footing. They stayed strong and they achieved the justice they deserve. You can do the same thing. If you're ready to take that first step, here is how you get started. First, you visit stonewoodfunding.com. The application is quick, simple, and there's no cost to apply. Then, we'll work directly with your attorney and evaluate your case. And finally, once approved, you will receive your funds in as little as 24 hours. That's it. 3 simple steps to get the financial support you need to keep fighting for your settlement. You're not alone. There's a whole team of Stonewood Funding who understands what you're going through, and they're here to help. When you partner with us, you're not just getting funding, you're getting an ally in your fight for justice. So take a deep breath, trust yourself, and remember that your case, your recovery, and your future are worth fighting for. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, or if you know someone who might need this message, please share it. Sometimes just knowing there's a solution can make all the difference. Until next time, I'm Laura Lee, reminding you that life doesn't wait for justice, and neither should you.